There was a representative of the Catholic Church who came on to, I think, Anderson Cooper or something on CNN, and was basically saying the artist claimed to be a Catholic as well. And he's like, you're not a real Catholic. This is the most offensive thing. And I think it's patently absurd that you call people in and ask them to eat the body of Christ. And I'm sitting here thinking, are you kidding me?
Hang on a second.
When that communion wafer, Dennis Bay brought this up yesterday, when that communion wafer turns into the body of Christ, do you have any guarantee that it's not that particular part of the body of Christ? Come on now. When you've got doctrines that are that silly, you can't throw stones at anybody else. Who are you kidding? Mark, how you doing?
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Oh, pretty good. Having fun on Easter.
Good. Well, I was interested in your being an atheist and an agnostic also together. I was wondering what you feel about the idea or the concept of some sort of interconnectedness between beings and some deeper consciousness or something like that where we have these things like premonition, where we have things like gut feelings, I guess.
We just had a big discussion. We just had a big discussion about intuition as well. You want to hit that one real quick?
Mostly just a quick note that I have yet to see any kind of evidence out there that this actually exists.
Right.
They fail to point out the 39 times that they were wrong.
Yeah.
But they'll point out the 5 times that they were right on something. And
exactly. But
laws of chance pretty much say that if I were to make 10 predictions right now, some of them would come true.
Right. What you believe is the idea, what do you think is the impetus behind a person's premonition that's not trying to, but it just happens?
Yeah, you get an intuition.
And then something, then the exact thing or something very, very similar.
Actually,
if not exact, very similar happens. And that, being a non-believer in any kind of deity form, I don't believe in a deity form per se.
Okay.
That I wonder about those kind of things because I do believe that happens because I know it's happened. I know it's happened to me.
Sure, it's happened to everybody.
I can come out and go, I'm going to take 400 people and tell them something about each one of them. But these things do happen to me on a very spontaneous level.
I actually answered this exact question last night in the forums because we were talking about intuition, and this is something that's happened to everybody. The thing is that one thing we're really good at, we're really good at that kind of intuitive thinking, because what's really happening is our brain is constantly working behind the scenes and considers things at another level. That doesn't mean that there's anything supernatural or metaphysical going on. It just means that your brain is incredibly good at processing stuff. That it can be thinking about, for example, while I'm talking to you and thinking of the words that I'm going to say next, I'm getting sensory input all the time from everything around me, and my brain processes all of that. So if somebody throws something at me, my reflexes can catch it. But that's also something that we've trained. It's the reason why athletes practice. We train to have the best intuition we can to make the best decisions we can. So, for example, if you are at the airport and you have this gut feeling that this is just really going to be bad, and you decide not to get on the flight, and you find out later that flight crashed, that's very impactful. The problem is that you're remembering that one hit and forgetting all the misses. You're forgetting the other times where you've had trepidations about doing something and it turned out to be okay. All the other times and on all the other people who have had this idea that this plane trip is just going to be terrible and maybe I shouldn't go, and it all turned out okay. We overemphasize the things that hit. So there's a little bit of coincidence going on. There's a little bit of normal intuitive thinking that really is reasoning in much the same way that basically you've already reasoned this out earlier for some other situation, and now you're experiencing a similar situation, so you get to rely on the reasoning that you used previously to kind of come to some kind of conclusion. Whenever we test whether or not somebody really has these sort of intuitive abilities, that when we put it in the frame of, they're psychic, and you put out 10 boxes with 1 red marble and 9 blue marbles, and we try and find out if anybody can get any kind of intuitive premonition beyond what we'd expect from chance about where that red marble is, they fail every time. Nobody's ever demonstrated this, and anybody who does has got an easy $1 million from the James Randi Educational Foundation.
I'm not trying to to say that psychics or these people that come on as psychics that say they're real.
Yeah.
But I wonder if there's some sort of instinctual or cellular level of connection that we have that allows us to have these things that are uncannily, not just something we process as a thought, something that is very uncanny and would almost be out of the realm of something we could actually think of.
Yeah.
What would explain those things that happen quite often to myself? I'm not sure if that's the case with a lot of other people.
Yeah.
And they just don't talk about them.
It's, again, things that we've never seen any evidence of. And, again, it's pretty common that you have these, kind of daydreams.
Well, you've had these things too then, right?
Sure. Yeah, everybody
Well,
has.
sure you have. So that's an evidence, and that's a self-evidence that these things do happen. I'm not trying to say
well, that they
are real,
happen, but that not necessarily that
or
they're...
do we find a marble in the thing all the time? But I'm saying what would explain this other than critical thinking? But critical thinking doesn't...
What we agree that
it doesn't explain it to me.
We agree that these things occur.
Right.
For example, you might be thinking about somebody and the phone rings and it's them. That's something that's happened to almost everybody, or at least someone they know, so that it's entered the public realm of experience.
Right.
There's no evidence to think that this is anything beyond coincidence. And the problem is that we overemphasize and remember the times we were thinking about somebody and the phone rang and it was them, and we forget about all the times we were thinking about people and the phone didn't ring, or we were thinking about people and it wasn't them.
Of course.
And when you actually look at the data and people there's no good reason to think that it's anything more than coincidence and normal experience. Yeah. It can be tested, and if we find out that there's some underlying thing, then that's worth looking into. I got to let you go. We're about out of time.
All right, thank you.
3 out of 4 people now believe in angels. What are you, fucking stupid? Huh? Has everybody lost their fucking mind in this country?